My name isn't important. I don't want this getting traced back to me, because even though this happened a few years ago, I still work in the same building. And every morning, when I badge in and walk towards the elevator, I still glance at the door leading down to the underground parking garage, and I remember what happened to Marcus. Marcus was the head of our department, technically a manager, but he treated himself like royalty. Imagine the kind of boss who talks down to everyone, brags about his salary, blames you for his mistakes, and calls it tough leadership. You know, that asshole kind of person. That was Marcus. No one liked him, and honestly, he didn't care either. But things got bad, and I mean really bad, especially when he fired Claire. Claire had been at the company for 5 years. She was smart, quiet, very polite. She wasn't confrontational at all. If anything, she let people walk all over her. But Marcus didn't like her. He said she was slow. But in reality, she had been dealing with a medical issue that caused her to miss a few days here and there. Instead of talking to her privately or going in giving her a warning, he made a scene in front of the entire department. He humiliated her. Then he just up and fired her on the spot. She was crying, and he was just smirking. And as she packed her things, she said something that made the entire office stop. She said, "I hope you learn what it feels like to be humiliated and terrified one day." Marcus just rolled his eyes, but everyone else, we felt it. We felt her rage. A chill. It was kind of a warning almost, it sounded like. But she, with her dignity that was left quietly, awkwardly, but quietly. Things went downhill from that day thereon. Our office building has a 3-level underground parking garage. It's old, echoey, dimly lit. Most people avoid it by leaving before dark. But Marcus always stayed late. He called it grinding. We all knew he just didn't want to go home to his empty apartment. But one night around 8:45 p.m., cleaning crews were leaving when Marcus suddenly burst into the lobby, cursing. His car alarm had been going off twice, and when he went down to check, someone had scratched the hood with a key. A long, deliberate scratch, a bunch of them right across the hood. The security guard checked the cameras, but somehow none of the garage cameras on level 2 were working that night. Marcus immediately blamed Claire, even though she didn't even have building access anymore. But we remembered someone else. Someone Marcus has fired a few months earlier. David was his name. He was the janitor. He had been let go after an argument with Marcus. We heard he had shoved a cart into the wall out of frustrations. Rumor was he had screamed at Marcus in the garage during his final shift. Since then, a couple of employees reported seeing him sitting in his old car outside the building, just watching. Security always just brushed it off, though. Figured he was harmless. Marcus didn't. He started taking the elevator straight down to the garage with a miniature baseball bat in his coat. He always carried it. Because deep down, he was nervous of that old creepy garage, but he just didn't like to show it. About a week later, around 9:30 p.m., Marcus called the building security again. This time, he found something on his car windshield. It was a note, a single sheet of printed paper with 3 words, "I see you." Security went through and checked all the cameras again, but again there was nothing. Nothing but static on all the cameras for level 2. The security guard cracked a joke, said maybe you're just cursed, Marcus, and the cameras don't pick that up. Well, Marcus didn't laugh. He blamed the guard. He blamed the fired janitor. He blamed Claire. He blamed everyone but himself. And even though he pretended he wasn't scared, he stopped staying late. started parking on level 1 instead of level 2, and for the first time since I knew him, he seemed fragile. According to the security footage and the badge logs, here's what we know. On a Thursday in early October, Marcus left his office at 6:11 p.m. He was holding his briefcase, his takeout dinner, and a little bat. He took the elevator to level 1. He looked stressed, jumpy, a bit nervous. He kept checking behind him also. The elevator doors opened, and this is when the footage gets strange. He steps out. He walks towards his car. He stops suddenly like he heard something. He turns completely around, staring into an empty aisle. Then he starts speed walking. Not running, not walking, but like a fast walk, really fast, almost a jog. That panicked, awkward in-between state, you know? Like he didn't want to look scared, but he was. He gets to his car door, unlocks it, and then, from off camera, someone sprints at him. You can't see the person, you only see a blur entering the frame. Marcus drops his dinner. He tries to open the driver's door, but the person slams it shut. The camera cuts out right there. Complete static. It stays off for 18 minutes. When it comes back on, the only thing visible is Marcus's takeout bag laying on the ground, and his car door still closed. Security made the discovery around 7 p.m. when Marcus failed to respond to calls from his girlfriend. When they checked the garage, they found his car still there. The bat was on the ground, snapped. His briefcase was open, papers everywhere. But Marcus? Well, Marcus was gone. No sign of a struggle beyond the broken bat, no blood, nothing. Police assumed he'd been jumped and kidnapped. But here's the part that they kept quiet. Someone had propped open the maintenance door that leads to the old, unused storage tunnels connected to the building. Tunnels only the janitorial staff knew existed. And on the dusty floor, in the tunnels, there were fresh shoe prints. 2 sets, Marcus's and someone else's. They never did find him. Months later, the new security manager quietly shared something with me. The cameras hadn't malfunctioned. They had been manually disabled from inside the security room on all 3 nights that the things happened. The only people who ever had access to that room were security, management, and janitorial staff. But here's the kicker. The keypad logs showed badge entries at times when no one was scheduled to be in the building. The badge used? It was Claire's old badge. The one that was deactivated the day she got fired. Except someone had reactivated it. Someone with security access. Someone who knew how to dodge cameras, access the back tunnels, and manipulate the building's controls. Someone who had been in and out of the garage without ever being seen on footage. And the only employees with that level of building knowledge was David, the fired janitor. When the police finally tracked him down, living 2 towns over, working overnight with another warehouse, they questioned him, but he denied everything. There was no proof, no confessions, no body, case still open. Every so often, someone from our office hears footsteps or a scraping sound coming from level 2 after everyone goes home. The new janitor refuses to clean down there alone. Security does rounds in pairs. Marcus's car stayed in the company impound for a while, but before his family collected it, it looked normal, completely untouched. And Claire? She never came back, never spoke to anyone again. But the security manager told me something I can't get out of my head. The night the cameras caught the blurred figure running towards Marcus, the shape, the size, the outline, he said it didn't look like David, and it definitely didn't look like Claire. It looked like someone bigger, bulkier, wearing what looked like a security-issued jacket. Someone who knew every blind spot in the garage, someone who still works in the building. And that's why I'm not giving my name. Because every morning, when I badge in, the man at the security desk greets me with the same empty smile, and I can't stop thinking, he was working that night that Marcus went missing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It truly helps the channel grow. We appreciate all of you who watch and support the channel.